Good morning, guys. First off, I want to apologize for the last video. I watched it this morning and there's some overlapping audio. I'm not sure how that happened. I was in DaVinci Resolve. I listened to the whole video. It sounded perfect. But when I rendered it, it's all one process. It renders and then automatically uploads to YouTube. Somehow audio overlapped, and that was kind of an epic failure on my part. So I do apologize. We won't do that on this one. So we're back here with the LeSharo to continue the rear suspension fixes. I looked at it before obviously turning the video camera on, and there's more problems caused from this. Let me get the camera and I'll try to point them out for you. All right, I got a flashlight here. Let's try to show you. So here's our sway bar brackets. Obviously we're going to build some that are 3 inches down. Probably going to get in the way of that pipe, so we'll have to cut the pipe, bring it back maybe an inch or so. But what else I found was this bar here. Let's see if I can. Oh, this is more difficult than it looks. All right, so this bar that connects to the axle, it has a bracket here. Well, it goes up to a lever on the proportioning valve, and I'm assuming, I haven't checked it out yet, but when you hit a bump, the axle comes up. That lever then pushes brake fluid down to just the rear brakes and applies brakes when you hit a big bump. Well, this bracket is going to have to be brought up 3 inches because you would have had to hit a huge bump just to get it to even work. So that's inoperable. What else? So let me go back around here. And you'll see, maybe, or you won't see. Grab my flashlight. So, I didn't hook the shocks back up because they are at full extension right now. And they're, looks like about 1.5 inches from being able to be put back into the brackets. Well, last night at full droop, I showed you, where is it? That brake line. Well, I have it pushed up with the jack, so it's not at full droop, so I can replace that brake line. And we're still 1.5 inches short on those shocks, which means, once again, you hit a bump and you come up to full extension, you're going to tear those shocks apart. So now we have to get longer shocks. I think that's about it for this rear axle. It's just the shocks need to be replaced. The brake line needs to be extended. That proportioning valve actuator arm, which runs from here to here and then up to the proportioning valve, we have to lengthen this bracket here. So then our rear suspension will be back to OEM and functional. I'm just surprised that none of that was ever addressed when it was lifted the first time, because all of those things are kind of important, I would assume. Well, the factory wouldn't have put that braking system, at least that's what it seems to be. I don't know for sure if that actuator arm releases pressure. I would assume it applies it. But it doesn't work until we extend that bracket, and then we bring those other brackets down. So I will get busy here. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm just going to do a quick time lapse of taking the brake line off. I already took off these brackets, and I thought, you know what, I might as well show it, what I'm doing. So we'll just do a quick time lapse. It should only take just a minute or two to get this done, if these aren't too bad. All right, guys, I'm back. Just wanted to illustrate before I took off the shocks. I'm just trying to highlight everything we're taking off. So the shocks, as you can see, we're about right at 2 inches from here to here short. I took that off. So this is at full droop. Your shocks are 2 inches short. So technically you should have about 1 inch left over at full droop, so you're not bottoming the shock out. And then it goes up into your wheel well right here, which then obviously you can see this wheel well sealed. You got to go inside to take the nut off. So I just left it up on the lift, so hang on while we climb a ladder and and climb into this thing. A little bit dark, but I got a flashlight. So, see if I can zoom out. We need to be zoomed out. There we go. As you can see, we have 2 jackknife couches in the back. Well, if you're familiar with how a jackknife couch is, it does not lift up. That's all the further it lifts up, and then comes out. So we got to remove both couches just to get to the top of the shock. And I don't think I can get a camera in here to show this. Doesn't, oh, maybe. Maybe. So, if you can see, there's 3 screws on a black bar sticking straight up. Maybe, right there. There's a little sticker, a screw, and another screw. Those 3 screws have to come out, as well as I think there's 4 bolts. Oh my lord, this is not conducive to videoing. I'll try to lift it up best I can. Alright, so I can kind of push it back, and you can see the screws, or the bolts, right there up front. And there's 2 on each side. So those got to come out just to get to the top of the shock tower. So I will take these out. I don't need to show you how to take out 3 screws and 4 bolts. And we'll come back once I have the shocks out and show you what I come up with when I go get new parts. And I'll be right back. All right, so we're back again. Another quick update on the shock towers. All right, guys, so I spent about 5 minutes saying bad words. I got the boot off the top of the shock. Let's see if I can pull this out of the way. So, if you look at my light, try this a different way. Pull these wires out of the way. If you look, nope, you can't see it on the camera. How about here? All the way down in there, right tip of my finger. There's a screw on the bottom of this cover plate. It's screwed in. I would have to remove the water heater to get to the screw. So I may end up having to do that to put that cover back in. I was able to bend it and pry it out and get it out, but to get it back in properly, the water heater has to come out. So I can get to that nut on top of the shock, which that's all this work was to do, was to get to that one nut. So I'll take that off, pull my shock out, and do the same to the other side, and we'll continue from there. So this is a reason why I do not like working on RVs, and I've done it for 20 years, and it's pretty frustrating that they're not made to work on ever. And maybe on yours you don't have this water heater right here. Maybe it's back 3 inches. You know, they could have brought it back an inch. It looks like. Either way, it wouldn't, I guess, have helped me. So, but to change your shocks, if your setup looks like this, that's what you got to do. So I'll get back here after I get these out. See you in a minute. How we doing, guys? I finally got the shocks out. I got them all laid out here on the table. Let me grab the camera and show you. So there's one here. Zoom in. So the one side shock came out good. Everything went fine. The one with the water heater, I ended up having to cut it off because I couldn't get this bolt off, or this nut off. It started spinning the shaft. So I just cut it off. The new one will go back on easy, so I don't have to remove the water heater and remove the mount for the couch. So these are ordered. They will be in here tomorrow, as well as a 4-inch longer flexible brake line. So it was a bit of a chore to order these because there's no application for this vehicle for 3-inch longer shocks. So what we ended up doing was finding the compressed length. You had to know that. Which we got 2 inches, or 2 inches taller on their compressed length, and the extension length is 4 inches longer. So somewhere in the valve body they gained a few inches. So those will all work, and I will keep part numbers for this. If you guys run into them and need them, hit me up. I will have the part numbers tomorrow, so then you don't have to go through the agony of about an hour to find the correct shock. So, and aside from that, so back to the blocks that we replaced these homemade things with. If you look, there's a mark here from the spring perch where these blocks were sitting on. So that spring perch is only 4 inches long, which is roughly here. So you can see that axle was walking back and forth, because this is, I think it's 5 inches. Yeah. Kind of look here. I don't know if you can see it. But anyways, it's 5 inches from here to here, and our spring perch is 4 inches. So it was walking back and forth an inch just from me driving it down the highway to my shop and to a storage facility. So it was already on its way out the door and ready to fail at any point. So we'll throw this in the garbage along with the other parts over there. And our next video is going to be on these, our brackets. We're going to fabricate some new brackets. And yeah, so I'll see you on the next video.